amazing parents, it's Dr. Lindsay here with this week's psychology-based parenting tips about making trips to a restaurant with your family easier. How would you like a break from prepping dinner tonight? Let somebody else do the cooking for a change. And the dishes too. Take the family out to your favorite local family-friendly restaurant. If you just felt your heart rate increase and your eyes start bulging at the thought of dining out with your family, fear not. You are not alone. Taking the kids out to eat isn't always easy, but it can become much more enjoyable and even an eagerly anticipated experience using my psychology-based parenting tips. You should be able to take a break from the kitchen and do that without adding extra stress to your day. Today, I want to do something fun and show you how my 5C's parenting framework can be directly applied to everyday situations that you encounter as a parent. Also, be sure to grab my freebie for this episode called How to Make Dining Out with Your Children Enjoyable. This guide is broken down to steps you can take before, during, and after the dining out event to help on that day and on future trips. You can snag your copy at parentingwithpsychology.com/dining. I'll pop that link in the description below this video for you. For now, we're going to group these steps into 5 C's categories. We've got communication, consistency, choices and checkpoints, consequences, and check yourself. First, communication. Set yourself up for success by clearly communicating expectations for the dining out experience. Say something like, we need to use our soft voices, stay seated in our chairs, and have good manners. Let them know details of what to expect, like we're just going to order water with our meals, but let's behave really well so we can stay long enough for dessert. If your child ever uses your phone or other electronic devices at a restaurant, be sure that it's clear what the rules are. So our family chooses not to use electronics at restaurants so we can focus on it being a social experience together. But some families prefer to allow phones perhaps for a specified time period, like between when you order and when the food arrives. Whatever you decide, make a protocol clear in advance and stick with it. At the restaurant and on the ride home, use positive reinforcement to praise your child's good behavior. You might say things like, great job ordering your own meal, or I loved hearing you say please when you ordered, and thank you when your food arrived. Or look how calmly you're sitting in your chair tonight. Second, consistency. Kids thrive on consistency. Consider making dining out a regular part of your weekly schedule, and you'll find that they fall into a rhythm and really step up their behavior. Our family eats out one night every weekend. Now, keep in mind, these can be budget-friendly restaurant choices. As they get older, getting the kids involved in choosing the restaurant gives everyone something to look forward to. Third, choices and checkpoints. Keep an eye on your child's behavior, but don't stress too much. A little loud noise or a little whining can be ignored, or you can offer a gentle reminder about appropriate behavior at a restaurant. You want them to behave like little angels, but you have to keep your expectations reasonable for their developmental level. What should you do if your child misbehaves at the restaurant? Communicate choices. If poor behavior escalates, let your child know that they need to stop yelling, crying, hitting, etc. Or you'll take them outside until they can calm down and behave appropriately. You might say, you need to stop yelling, or I'm going to have to take you out of the restaurant to calm down. If the unwanted behavior continues, begin your countdown. Now, if you're not already familiar with my 3-2 thank you countdown approach, check out my video on 3-2 thank you linked below in the description. It's a game changer for gentle yet effective discipline. So hopefully the countdown will end with thank you. But if you get to 1, then that brings us to 4th, consequences. Follow through with consequences. Calmly escort your child outside until they have regained their composure and agree to return back to the restaurant under the condition that there will be no more of the problem behavior. You can gently pick them up if need be. You don't want the rest of the restaurant to suffer, and you want your child to learn what behavior is appropriate at a restaurant and what is not. It was pretty funny recently when I had all 4 of my kids out at a restaurant for lunch and a young child was being quite loud at a nearby table. My kids have had plenty of difficult dining out experiences over the years, but they're getting older and much more reasonably well behaved now. And so it was entertaining hearing them talk about how their dining out experience was really negatively impacted by the young child's behavior. If you have a child being quite loud, I would recommend taking a break outside the restaurant with them. Keep it positive while you're out on the break. Tell them that you love them and you know they can behave well enough to return to the fun meal. Ask a silly question to lighten the mood, like, what color do you think your pasta will be? Of note, throughout the meal, you can use the prompt, remember you need to have good behavior to stay for dessert, to encourage good behavior, but only say we can't stay for dessert unless you have good behavior if you actually plan to take away dessert in response to a bad behavior. The promise of dessert is usually enough to keep kids behaving well. Plus, you want to build the learned association between dining out and fun. The treat of having dessert really adds to the fun. So I'd focus on dessert essentially being guaranteed, with the exception of seriously bad behavior. Okay, fifth, check yourself. Roll with the punches. If your kid falls off their chair or tips the whole chair over, pick it right back up and continue. If a drink tips over, stand it back up and get out a napkin to mop up the mess. Don't freak out, just offer a gentle reminder of appropriate behavior. If their voice starts getting too loud, calmly remind the kids to lower their voices. A hand gesture like a flat palm moving downward can help. Communicate with your child the reasons for your requests, like the guests at the other table will have a hard time focusing on their own conversations when we're so loud. This is a great opportunity to utilize some of the coping skills for adults that I teach in the Check Yourself module of my full course. In the meantime, practice staying calm by taking slow, deep breaths before responding to any disruptions. Remind yourself that the rest of the patrons are less concerned about your child's behavior than you are, except for extreme noise. Most people think little kids are adorable. Rather than judging you for embarrassing moments, they are likely feeling compassion and joy that they're not in your situation. And the server has definitely seen worse behavior before, so just plan to tip well and all will be fine. I'd love to hear from you in the comments about any wild parenting moments at restaurants and how you overcame them. Okay, here's the take-home message for this episode. Now you know how the 5 C's can be applied to everyday situations that you encounter in your parenting practice. Look for more episodes like this one coming regularly as we cycle through the specific parenting tools in each of the 5 C's categories and then circle back to this idea of the 5 C's as an overarching concept that you can apply to your parenting. Remember to download my freebie, How to Make Dining Out with Your Children Enjoyable, at parentingwithpsychology.com/dining. You'll find the link in the description below this video, along with other free downloadable parenting resources. This week, give yourself a break from the cooking and the dishes and support your favorite local restaurant. Just be sure to choose one where everybody can feel relaxed. Start small by utilizing a few of the tips from my dining out guide and add more each time you dine out. You'll be amazed how much more enjoyable your family experience becomes. This episode really took your understanding of the 5 C's to a whole new level. If you're new to the 5 C's, look in the description below this video to find more parenting resources, including a video about the 5 C's parenting framework, and a link to sign up for my weekly newsletter to be sure that you never miss any of my new tips. Okay, amazing parents, that wraps up today's episode. Thanks for joining me to fill your parenting toolbox with psychology-based tools to feel more confident and capable in your parenting. If you found this video helpful, I'd invite you to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more Parenting with Psychology tips. Join me next week to learn the key to showing your child you love them even when they make mistakes. In the meantime, check out my free resources listed below in the description and keep up the good work on your amazing parenting journey. Oh, and if you're looking for some inspiration on easy-to-carry toys to keep your young ones entertained while you're waiting for your meal to arrive, check out my Treasures Dining Out page at parentingwithpsychology.com/treasures. I have a whole category of products to help make your restaurant experience more enjoyable. My weekly tips are also available to read on my website or to listen to on your favorite podcast player. If you'd like to connect with me more regularly and join the Parenting with Psychology community, follow Parenting with Psychology on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I love hearing from you, so please leave a comment below and let me know how you've been using these tips in your parenting practice, or about any topics you'd like me to cover in future episodes. Finally, a quick legal disclaimer. Please note that the advice provided in this episode is different than therapy and does not serve as a substitute for professional psychological treatment or other types of professional advice or intervention. If you or your child have concerns or need further parenting or personal support, please contact a physician or other qualified local health professional. See you next week, amazing parents.